CISPA. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV, Alternative Media Television. Here I'm today to talk about CISPA. You know, I'm supposed to really have my panties in a bunch about this, and I do. Quite frankly, it's kind of riding up my crack right now. Kind of find it a little bit annoying. It's almost like the DHS has their hand down my pants again. You know, every time I go to the airport, I'm getting frisked. Oh, yeah, they always ask me, hey, Christopher, is that a banana in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? I'll let you decide for yourself, Mr. DHS officer. Anyway, CISPA is passed by the House, and basically this is internet tyranny on a whole new level, on a whole another stage. But honestly, as many of you would probably expect me to go on a rant and just kind of a tyranny spew of anger and disillusionment with the system, I'm actually not even going to do that today on CISPA, because CISPA, quite frankly, is the least of our worries. What America should be worried about is the complete militarization and domination of an entire American city over the weekend. The great city of Boston. DHS, SWAT, police forces, special forces, FBI, CIA, literally telling people to get their hands up, get your hands up, show me your papers. That's what was on display as a result of a single accused, alleged, hasn't been convicted yet. I know CNBC, MSNBC, all the mainstream news outlets want to convict him already. In fact, I tweeted something out from TMZ yesterday that said that he's already been pretty much convicted for the crime. Guy hasn't gotten a trial yet. So we'll see what kind of civilian trial he gets, according to White House spokesperson Jay Carney. You know, Carney came out today and said, we're not going to try him as an enemy combatant. We're going to give him a fair trial. I think it's fantastic. I think it's, bravo. Bravo, Jay Carney. Let's get this guy talking. In fact, let him speak. Let him speak. I'd love to fly down and interview the guy. Let's get his side of the story. If 60 Minutes won't do it, I will. So yeah, CISPA, a big deal, absolutely. It's amazing how Americans want it both ways in our society. They'll say, this is a land of constitutional principles, Christopher. But then on the other side, they only want it one way. You see, the minute the bombs went off in Boston, they didn't even have to know or see any evidence. Kill them. Don't even give them a fair trial. Just, send them to Gitmo, begin waterboarding them like we do over there. There's now a hunger strike with over half of the people in Gitmo that, they know their life's over. They're not going to get a trial. So you can't have it both ways. Just like you can't believe an innocent until proven guilty and then decide just because the mainstream media has pinpointed the accused that we're just going to hang them in a public square and not give them a trial. And we're going to try them as an enemy combatant. In fact, we should protect these cases and these extreme examples with more passion and vigor than any other case. Because these cases set precedents for you and I. And as I've said many times before, you better hope to God a finger isn't pointed on you. Next, you're not Julian Assange or Andrew Breitbarted or Pat Tillman. I always love how people like to call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist at all. I'd consider myself somebody seeking for the truth. But you notice how they can't argue when I bring up these specific examples. For example, Pat Tillman. A lot of people argued me when I talked about the fact we were being propagandized by the American machine, the federal government, in order to sell a war. Really pissed people off at the time. People got really angry. I mean, their panties were in a bunch. But see, now they can't argue with me because it's come out since that Pat Tillman actually was murdered by the federal government. It was a lie, and of course they put his parents and his brother, who's been very vocal on the issue, went on Bill Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher, had me almost in tears. After putting their family through the terror. We like to say how, terrorism is evil, yet the Obama administration, the Bush administration constantly are putting us through fear and terror, putting our cities in lockdown, showing the gross ineptitude and incompetence of the FBI itself that actually had interviewed Tamerlan, the older brother, in 2011 and then allowed, I guess, the attacks to carry out in Boston. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Or the bombed or the foiled plots, the bomb foil plots that have come out later. The 1993 World Trade Center bomber, Pat Tillman, murdered by the federal government, propagandized, used his death as a way to sell the war in Iraq. Very afraid of Pat Tillman coming back to the United States, an American hero, NFL football star. I'd seen him many times here in Phoenix locally. Was going to be and was very disillusioned with the Iraq War, would probably have turned out to be one of the biggest anti-war activists in the history of America. Suddenly winds up dead. And they lie to us. Of course, they change their story. Just like the mainstream media changed their story on Boston, identified different suspects, then deported one of them after clearing them. Now it's these two guys. Now they're suddenly linked to a 12-person terror cell. Just like the Waco blast that went off a couple of days ago. Yeah, don't worry about that. Has nothing to do with, the gun control bill or making sure that there's restrictions put on black powder, which the fertilizer plant allegedly had, way too much of and hadn't reported to the Department of Homeland Security. This will all be wrapped into further legislation, again, to fearmonger you, the American people. And the liberals love this shit. I mean, they love their king and savior. They love their God, President Barack Obama. I mean, they love the whole idea of redistribution of wealth. Let's get rid of corporate profits, as Peter Schiff clearly showed at the Democratic National Convention. You got people like Mark Dice just having people sign in California, let's get rid of the Fourth Amendment, get rid of freedom of speech, toss it in the toilet. And these people love and eat this shit up. Because we are a land of dumb people. We are a land of sheeple, of idiots. And really what America stands for, honestly, and it's one of the reasons why the rest of the world hates us so much, is just the high level of idiocy that exists in the United States of America today. I mean, very few people think. And if you do think, and you do critical thinking, and you do ask questions, you're considered a terrorist. You're considered a liberty terrorist. But now in addition to that, going to the airport, having your 3-5-year-old daughter raped in front of you, and you just have to sit there and watch it happen, now they're conditioning you for getting it into the streets. So, this is something we can really look forward to. And it makes CISPA look like an itty little bitty, whisper. CISPA. That's what it makes it look like compared to the militarization of America today. The DHS and every fabric and curtain of our lives, destroying our liberty. The Patriot Act already destroyed our liberty post-September 11th, like there wasn't a motive to blow up those buildings in 2001. They can now wiretap our phones, check our Facebook, Twitter accounts, YouTube, etc. Yeah, they're reading it right now, actually. This is about control. Again, don't think, don't commit a thought crime, or we might have to electrocute that brain, recondition it, reprogram it. Hey, go watch some mainstream TV, American Idol. I hear the Kardashians are on. Did you see her ass lately? It's gotten really big with the pregnancy. Isn't that amazing? Wow, millions and millions of followers on Twitter, because that's what we care about, a big ass. And getting hands down our pants, courtesy of the DHS. I personally want to take this moment. Thank you, President Barack Obama. Thank you, Department of Homeland Security, for the feel-up. I really love getting hands down my pants. Usually I'd have to go out and pay for something like that, but now that I can get it for free through you guys, I'm very thankful for the country that we live in. Country of bailouts, trillions of dollars stolen from the American people in 2008, destroyed our entire economy, has continued to destroy to this day. People like John Corzine throwing these lavish parties at their mansions for President Barack Obama that stole billions of dollars from MF Global clients out of their client accounts. Just outright fraud, terrorism on the American people, walks around scot-free because he helped Obama get reelected for a second term, so the Obama administration doesn't give a shit. This is straight out of the Obama terror playbook, America. This is how things work. There is no accountability anymore. There is no morality. You just have a dictator at the top. His name's Barack Hussein Obama. Still have yet to verify his birth origin, his birth certificate, anything like that, but you're a conspiracy nut if you ask any questions. And hey, if you want to keep your guns, you are a right-wing redneck freak. And honestly, that's what they'll have you to believe. Joe Biden, vice president, says it's like kind of wanting to own a Ferrari. I mean, hey, why would you want a weapon to defend yourself? Why would you want a handgun or a shotgun? I mean, it could only possibly be for hunting purposes because we don't need those kinds of weapons anymore. But they do. They militarized Boston over the past few days. Have their AK-47s out, have people with their hands up. I'm sure they've put their hands down people's pants. Just probably wasn't reported yet because people were too terrorized and too scared. I mean, hey, when America turns into Nazi Germany, when you have the Gestapo or the SS at your door, what are you going to do? And when they send you to concentration camps and gas you, yeah, it'll be a little unnerving. They'll tell you they're taking you to a shower, though. They're going to bathe you after they've starved you for weeks and weeks and months on end. And you can see the skeleton of your little belly hanging out, your belly button's flaring out. And you're sitting there with your family just going, wow, I should have said something. I should have spoken up. Man, that guy at AMTV sure is a nutbag, but he was right about what was going on, wasn't he? Total tyranny, total chaos, straight out of the Solowinski Obama playbook, baby. Community organizing at its finest. You better hope you're not the next Breitbart or Pat Tillman, because, if you create a little bit too much of a ruckus, if you're too much of a Martin Luther King Jr., as Obama always likes to liken himself to, isn't it funny how those guys don't last so whole long? Martin Luther King, one of the guys, honestly, he's one of my personal heroes. He's one of my favorites in what he stood for and what he had to say and how he united the people and how he organized things in such a positive way for freedom and liberty loving Americans and people around the world everywhere. Yeah, Obama likes to liken him with that guy. What a freaking joke. Martin Luther King would roll over in his grave and puke all over Obama's face if he knew that to be the case. Martin Luther King was a hero. Martin Luther King was somebody that cared about freedom and liberty. And you know what? That's really all that matters at the end of the day. At least these people lived for something. At least their lives mattered. At least it meant something. At least they weren't just, going to their 9 to 5 today, every day, punching into the clock, paying for the bailouts for the next 30 years, only to find that pension they thought they were going to get from the federal government because they were a teacher, a firefighter, or a police officer, or government employee for 45, 50, 60 plus years isn't going to be there because they collapsed the whole system and now you got to pay for it. The albatross of debt around your neck, not just me, people talking about this, Peter Schiff, Max Kaiser, the list goes on and on, the Glenn Becks, Alex Jones, whatever. Write them off as crackpots, write me off as a crackpot. Again, the DHS already has their hands down my pants when I go to the airport. I don't see how it gets a whole lot worse outside of a full frontal attack on the Second Amendment and outright confiscation and then gas chambers. I mean, that really is the next step. Again, they take these little baby steps here. You can see my little fingers. Little baby steps that kind of move you around. It's like, oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that first bailout wasn't too bad. Oh, that second bailout wasn't too bad. CISPA wasn't too bad. SOPA wasn't too bad. Well, we should outlaw some guns. That wasn't too bad. Oh, shit, I can't own a shotgun now, too? Oh, shit, all guns are... Oh, nothing? Nothing? Total militarization of Boston? Really? Really? Nothing? Gas chambers now? Where's your papers? Get your hands up? I mean, that's honestly where we are in America today. It's funny. I have fun with these videos, and some of you that watch me for a long time know I'm partly being facetious, partly being just my normal self here today. But again, write me off as a crackpot conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat. I really don't give a shit. All I know is I'm bringing you truth straight up every single day. For those of you that have laughed in our faces from the very beginning, which many people did from the very first video I started, it's funny. That only gives me more ammunition, no pun intended. It only honestly kind of revs my engine more. And I want to thank all you trolls out there for all your tremendous support, increased traffic over the past few days. It's really been incredible, and you've really helped our cause. And honestly, I mean that. I love the trolls just as much as I do our ardent supporters here at AMTV. Because you're all helping the cause, my friends, and that's what it's about. Freedom, liberty, freedom of speech. People sometimes accuse me, they're like, Christopher, man, the way you talk, you're like an anarchist. I mean, look, we had to give those bailouts to Obama. We had to steal. I mean, it was a crisis, as the liberals like to tell me, like, oh, Christopher, I understand you have your opinions, but it was a crisis in 2008, and there was nothing that Obama could do about it. And they'll say the same thing about Libya and everything else and gun control. It's always a tear for the liberals. Like, oh, Sandy Hook, it's such a tragedy. I do care about the Second Amendment, but Obama's right. Now that there's kids that died, we should just get rid of everything. And that's the excuse. If you're a liberal and you're following this demagoguery of President Barack Obama, honestly, you're an idiot. So yeah, I guess I am saying it. You're an idiot. And, hopefully you wake up. Doesn't make you a bad person, but hopefully you wake up at some point in the future. And if it takes a concentration camp or the gas chambers to do it, honestly, that's on you. Because it's proven itself again and again, time and time again in history before. Again, baby steps to tyranny, America. Baby steps to tyranny. Right out of the Obama handbook, my friends. Right out of the Obama handbook. And I wonder what's next, America. I wonder what kind of terror is going to strike next. Could it be another September 11th or a Sandy Hook? Could it be a buck-toothed terrorist from the Liberty Movement? What could it be? What could it be? I hope I scare the shit out of the people that watch my content. I hope you are frightened, because you should be. You should be scared of what's here and what is taking place in the United States today. Again, a lot of people like me, it's not just me, having our Paul Revere moments, telling you straight to your faces, hard-hitting as usual. We've been invaded. Tyranny is here. We have been taken over. America hijacked. And now you're psychologically going through the process of being converted to the Obama faith. Capitalism, bad. Bailouts, good. Obamacare, good. And all these things. CISPA, good. Free speech, bad. You're being converted. And this is what the program is. Total control, total world domination. At the very height of it, of course, a spiritual war. That's pretty much it. I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television, and I just deliver the Daily Wave. Hard-hitting and in your face.
CISPA, CISPA, CISPA.